Aubrey Howe, and I shadowed Mrs. Milligan from Harmony Middle School, and I shadowed a 6th grade regular math class and Math Plus class, which is an advanced math class. And the lesson I'm doing is a basic math lesson about multiplying decimals. And I came into the class and I shadowed from beginning to end the whole lesson. And it's about a 5-day lesson. So there's each 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, and 2.5, and then that's the whole lesson of multiplying decimals. And first off, I would start the lesson by asking the students why they think multiplying decimals is important, and have the students come up with like a list of how they see decimals in like their everyday life, which is mostly in money and things like that. And the lesson objective is that students will multiply a decimal and whole number where regrouping is required, and the students will multiply 2 numbers with 2 decimal places each. So each day, the lesson got more complicated. There was bigger numbers, more decimals, and it would multiply times more numbers. And what I would do is they have a bits and pieces textbook, and there's an online version of it. So the students open their books while the teacher has the book open on the smartboard. And you just go through the lessons, and there's practice problems within the lesson. So students are doing the problems as the teacher's using the airliner to write them up on the board. And during that, you kind of go around and check on the notebooks to make sure the students are doing it right as you're going over it. And at the end of each day, there's like 5 to 10 problems out of their bits and pieces textbook that I would assign for homework. And at the end of the lesson, right before the test, they have 3 decimal dynamos worksheets, which are just kind of fun worksheets with like the letters to each answer that spell out a joke or something like that. And that just helps them review for their test. And then at the very end, their test is actually on kia.com on a website. And it's online, and then they have to write, at the end they write a summary about what they learned and how they can apply it to their lives. And so I think I could tell that it was age appropriate because right before I came in they were doing adding and subtracting decimals, so this kind of just went right along into it. And then the next thing was dividing with decimals, so it kind of just fit right in. And I could tell just because most of them in the one class did pretty well on their tests. And then the other thing that I would do is one of the classes didn't do very well on their tests. So what she did was she just, the day after the test, she brought up on the smartboard all the questions that the students didn't do very well on and went over them all and made sure that the students had actually mastered all of those questions that they didn't do very well on. I collaborated with the teacher. She had a lesson or a planned period right after I was in her class, so she kind of just told me how she helps students if they weren't understanding and the extra steps that she would take to help them, and it kind of explained to me how there are some challenges with kids that aren't doing well on tests. So she explained to me how she went over the problems on the tests that they missed, so she just kind of helped me in that way. And
did you have a rubric?
I didn't have a rubric. That's it.
Questions?
Yeah.
Was there like a lot of homework or anything, since it was like a week-long thing?
In the class, she would go over the lesson, and then that wouldn't take up the whole time, so they got a lot of in-class time, and that helped them because a lot of them had questions, so she would come up and help them. So there wasn't that much outside work. I mean, if they were struggling, she gave them extra worksheets that they could work on, but most of them got pretty much everything done in class. They're only in 6th grade, so they're kind of used to the homework thing.
That's true. Did they have did you see them take the test or anything?
Yeah, they took the test on the Kia, on the online thing, and a lot of them actually said that they didn't like Kia just because they're not used to like online stuff. Everything's in paper in elementary school, so they didn't really like it. But one of the kids in my brother's class, I told them they kind of have to get used to it because in high school there's a lot of online stuff with the CPS and everything. So
did most of the kids do pretty good on the test?
in the one class, a lot of them did really well. In the other class, a lot of them struggled. But then when she went over all the questions on the smartboard, a lot of them were like, oh, I get it now. So just I think different ways of explaining it helped them a lot.